We're here. We made it. We made it to Texas. Praise the Lord. I'm going to put those up because there's a huge glare. But God is so good, you guys. God is so good, and I am so blessed to be here. This is such an exciting and incredible season. But I don't know, I just have like some things that I want to share, and hopefully they'll encourage people, or I don't know, it's just my own testimony, and it makes me excited to share it. And yeah, but just as I've been moving down here and as I've been getting more settled in, like I went to the bank today, and the woman who was helping me set up the bank account was asking, like, oh, what made you move to Texas? And I was like, there's a church down here that I've got involved with, and I'm like working there, and it's amazing. And she's like, that's kind of weird. Like, why did you move to Texas from Chicago for a church? But that sounds weird to people in the natural, but that's not like the whole story. You know what I mean? Because the reason I came to Texas from Chicago is because God told me to do it. Did I want to do it? Not necessarily, no. Did I want to leave my mom and my dad and my brother and my dog and my friends and my church and everybody that I've ever known and my hometown that I've grown up in? No, are you crazy? Of course I didn't want to leave that. Like, everything that you're comfortable with, everything that you know in life, leave it behind and move to another town. No, that's not something that I would say, yeah, God, I really want to do that. But, my prayer and my heart's desire has always been, Lord, I'm willing and I'm ready, and send me, and let's do this. And he knows the desires of my heart along with that, and my hobbies and my passions, and, just use me. However you can, Lord, use me. And I think God just took that, and then it just, told me to do this and partner me with this church and these people. And it's such a beautiful thing to see how these like puzzle pieces fit together. But it doesn't make sense to people in the natural world. And I think so many times we can get kind of like caught up in that. Like, why am I doing this? Well, it doesn't make sense. But yet, if God is telling you to do it, that's the only reason you need, right? Like how Pastor Brent was talking about, like, you don't need a reason to say no, you need a reason to say yes. So, like, that just really encourages me, when people ask me to go out or do this or do that, I don't need a reason to tell them no. I need to hear from my Father God, is this a person I should be investing time in and spending time with and hanging out with? And, I need a reason to say yes, and I don't need a reason to say no. But anyways, I've been encouraged because the sermon that Pastor Brent and what we've been talking about is like the narrow road. And what exactly does that mean? What does that mean for you? And there's so many verses where God and Jesus is talking about like the narrow gate, and few go down this road. And that just kind of ministered to me in that, like, when it's a narrow road, you can't take a lot with you, right? You can't fit a lot on that road. It's just, it's just you and Jesus, and he's holding your hand and you're walking. And then I was also thinking about this, like, when we're driving and there's a wider road, like the traffic tends to go faster. And in this world, I opt to take that road. Like, it's going faster, the traffic is flowing and it's going and it's wide and there's lots of space for the cars. And it's just easier. It just seems easier, so I take the wider road. And I think in life, too, a lot of times we can do that same thing. Like, okay, this is just easier, so it's easier to stay in Chicago, so I'm just going to do that. And it's easier to just live with my parents and save up money and then eventually buy a house, so I'm going to do that because it's easier, it's more convenient, it's a wider road, more convenient for me, so I'm going to do that. It's easier just to, marry this guy that I've dated for all these years and I put so much time and effort into. It's easier to just go ahead and marry him, even though it's not what God is telling me to do. It's more convenient. And it ultimately gets me the thing I want, because I want to have a family, I want to have a husband, so I could marry him and I could have those things. But is it God's best? Is it God's best for me? Is it his best plan for my life? Is that his plan A? Am I on the narrow road? Am I walking hand in hand with God? And he's saying and pointing to me, okay, Erica, this is the church. This is the man. These are the children. These are the friends. You know, I need a reason to say yes. Yes, this is the man. Yes, this is the church. I don't need a reason to say no. So that has really just been ministering to me, and like, okay, let's take the narrow way. Let's take God's way. Because you know what, the thing that I've come to learn is when you're on that wider path, when you're on that highway and you're just dating this guy because you like the way he looks, or you're dating this girl, or you're doing whatever, or you're taking this class because it was the cheapest one. Not the one God told you to do, but the cheapest one, the most affordable, the most convenient, the easiest one, the closest to your parents, the closest to your friends, the closest to your favorite shopping mall, whatever. If that's your reason, and your reason is not because God told you to do it, or because God told you this, that, or the other, that's not a good reason. You're going to end up wishing that you were over here on the narrow road when you're on the highway. And you're going to look at your life, because this was me. You're going to take a step back and go, what am I doing? How did I veer so far off this plan for my life, off this path that God has for me? Because I know the path. I've walked with him in my whole life. And how did I get so far over here into my own will, my own desires, and my own things that I want? God cares about the desires of your heart. But if all you're doing is pursuing the desires of your heart, you're going to be in for a world of trouble. Trust me. You have to pursue God, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added unto you. And that's not why we seek God, is so that we'll get the things. We seek God because we love God. Because God is love. Because God is literally life. He's life-giving, life-changing, joy, happiness, peace. All of it is in God. He is at the end of the day, if I have nobody and nothing else, and I don't get the husband, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, and there's no family nearby, I have God. And I have peace, and I have joy, and I have love, because I have God. And he's all I need. He fulfills every desire that I have. That's all. That's all I need. But the beautiful thing about God is, if you're on this wide road and you're pursuing your own things and your own paths and your own desires because it's convenient or easy for you, I almost picture it like you're driving on the road and there's an exit ramp. God gives us this exit ramp onto the narrow road, onto the plan that he has for your life. And it's almost like Christ dying on that cross created that exit ramp. You're not stuck here in sin, following our father, the devil, anymore. We're not stuck here. He created an escape. And it's like every couple miles, there's another exit route. There's another ramp to get on the plan and the path that he has for your life. But he's not going to yank the wheel out of your hand and drive you off into the plan he has for your life. You have to consciously and put effort into making that decision in your brain to turn the wheel. How do we turn the wheel? Here's our wheel. Let's get off. Let's get off. We're about to hit a tree. Let's get off. Let's not hit that tree. Let's not go through that heartbreak. You know? This is your guide. This is your map and your manual to everything you need in life. It's almost like, I wish that it was just written down somewhere for me, everything that I needed to do, and a guide for this life. And God's like, seriously? It's right here. I made it for you. Why aren't you reading it? Why aren't you opening it? What else do I need to do? It's right here. I created this manual for you, and it has all the answers. It's like a test that this is the life, and you can cheat. It's open book, guys. It's open book. And we're not using the book, and we're just failing and crying and failing. And it's like, oh, he's just like, my child, I've given you everything you need. This is our guide. This is our guide, and we can just use it and get right back on course for everything he has planned for us. But on the contrary, when you're on that narrow path, he's not a mean and selfish God. He's not going to have you stuck on that. If you want to go back on that wide path, if you want to start pursuing your own desires and your own will and your own agendas, you are welcome to get off the narrow road and head right back over to the highway where it's all easy and convenient and full of heartbreak and hurt and pain and suffering at the end of the path, but it's glitz and glam and it's a little bit shiny, so it looks kind of fun. So if you want to head over there, you can go ahead, but you're promised suffering and hurt and pain at the end of it. But it is wider, so you can take all your fun junk and sin with you. So if that sounds appealing, you are always welcome to get back onto that wide path. But it goes both ways. You know, he's always there to save us and bring us back. He gives us that option to come back on the narrow road, but he's not going to keep you trapped somewhere you don't want to be. So I just encourage you today to keep pursuing God. Keep pursuing God. Don't pursue anything else. Don't pursue anything else but God. And he will supply the desires of your heart, the needs, everything you need. He's got you. He's got your back. He's got your family's back. He knows what's important to you, and just trust him. He's not going to fail you. He's not going to let you down. Stay on that path and don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Just keep your eyes fixed on God, and he will never fail you. He will never let you down. He's such a good father. And that's all. I love you guys. Okay? Bye.